Welcome to Learning Language with Mrs. Lindsay. Today we will be looking at elements of a story and focusing on setting. Why is setting so important? The setting of a story tells you where and when the story takes place. It can also tell you about the weather, whether it's sunny, rainy, windy, the climate, if it's a tropical climate, the season, whether it's spring, summer, winter, or even fall, and the geographic location. That's specifically where somewhere is located. For example, Smart Supermarket, downtown Providenciales. So how do you create a setting in a story? Let's read this example to see how setting is written into a story. As the sun set in the evening sky, Malcolm slowly turned and walked toward his home. All was silent and still. Through the window, he could see his older brother James watching a football game on the TV. James was home from his first year of college in the city. It was lonely at times, but Malcolm felt it was rather nice to not be in James's shadow during his senior year of high school. So, what is the setting in this story? The time. The story takes place during the evening and during James's senior year of high school. It's also modern times because we see they have a TV. The place where the story takes place is Malcolm's home. Let's look at another example. It was mid-morning, a very cold, bright day. Holding a potted plant before her, a girl of 14 jumped off the bus in front of the old lady's home on the outskirts of town. She wore a red coat and her straight yellow hair was hanging down loose from the pointed white cap all the little girls were wearing that year. She stopped for a moment beside one of the prickly dark shrubs with which the city had beautified the home, and then proceeded towards the building. "I'm a campfire girl. I have to pay a visit to some old lady," she told the nurse at the front desk. So let's look at the setting of this story. What time of day is it? We see that it was mid-morning. Describe the atmosphere of the scene. What are some details which help you build up an atmosphere? Can the reader see the scene clearly? When we answer all of these questions, we would have been creating a perfect setting. Let's look and see if this author created a perfect setting. It was mid-morning, a very cold, bright day. Very cold, bright day tells us about the atmosphere. Jumped off the bus in front of the old lady's home. We learn more about where the story takes place with this line. On the outskirts of town. Also, more information about where the story takes place. She stopped for a moment beside one of the prickly dark shrubs with which the city had beautified the home. In our minds, we can see exactly where the girl is standing. This also helps us to create the setting. So we can see that the author did create a good atmosphere, and the reader can see the scene clearly. Therefore, it is a good setting. Now, we learned previously about character, and I just want to point out that the character is well described in this story. We learn about the character through the descriptions of the author. Let's read the descriptions. Holding a potted plant before her, a girl of 14. We can imagine this girl to be a teenager. She wore a red coat and her straight yellow hair was hanging down loose from the pointed white cap all the little girls were wearing that year. We create a picture in our mind's eye as we see how greatly the author is describing the girl here. I'm a campfire girl. I have to pay a visit to some old lady. Without even telling us that she was a campfire girl, we already knew through the description that was given. Therefore, when you're describing your character, you not only jot down descriptions, but you allow the descriptions to blend into your story to create a good description of your character. This is the end of our lesson for today. See you next time.